For as long as I can remember, I've had an interest in what some people condescendingly term conspiracy theory. You see, I was born November 22nd, the anniversary of John F. Kennedy's assassination. And every year on my birthday, there's been televised specials on practically every channel talking about magic bullets, grassy knolls, other shooters, as well as CIA, FBI, and mafia involvement. Even by the age of 10, this spoke to me. And of course there were UFOs, the Illuminati, occult Nazis, organized satanic networks, faked moon landings, and CIA mind control programs. Hell, even if this is all bullshit, it was fun to read about. It was in 2000 that I first discovered David Icke's book, The Biggest Secret. In it, he writes about a global conspiracy, a hidden hand manipulating humanity's destiny through the shadows, using those who seem to be in power. And the goal of these shadow people? Nothing less than an Orwellian global superstate with total control at the hands of an ancient reptilian shape-shifting race. So we took a ferry to the Isle of Wight to spend the day with David Icke, Britain's leading conspiracy evangelist and the one man standing between us and total enslavement.
Hey! Kev, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Good trip?
Yes, it was.
Welcome to my abode. There's not much to see, but I like it.
What do we got here?
Well, this is things that I've collected over the years. This is fantastic. Someone in Hawaii actually painted this. This is what the painting is. This is the original of the front cover of my last book, Human Race, Get Off Your Knees, The Lion Sleeps No More. And I asked my great friend, an artist called Neil Haig, to paint this picture for me with particularly those eyes. And that's humanity saying, no more, enough, no more little me, we're not having it anymore.
In 1991, David Icke didn't believe in secret shape-shifting lizard fascists. He was a television celebrity. After arthritis had ended a promising career in football, he'd become a broadcaster. But that all ended in one remarkable appearance on the Terry Wogan Show.
David Icke.
In a turquoise tracksuit, he'd announced that he was the son of God, and the world would be ending that year. It didn't, and Icke seemed destined to disappear beneath a typhoon of public laughter.
So it's quite funny, really. You know, 2,000 years ago, had a guy called Jesus sat here and said these same things, you would still be laughing. It's really funny that we've not really moved on that much.
They're laughing at you. They're not laughing with you.
Fine.
But Icke wouldn't disappear. He began to write. And over a series of increasingly successful books, he began to outline his philosophy. Humankind was not in charge of its destiny. It was the unwitting prisoner of a race of shape-shifting lizards who occupied the roles in the highest echelons of society. From presidents to royal families, all trusted public figures were secretly part of a reptilian, Satanist pedophile group who had been on this planet for centuries. People began to take notice of Icke, and today he spends most of his year preaching to amphitheaters full of fans. He's still making startling revelations, and recently he declared the moon to be a hollowed-out planetoid space station from which our minds are controlled. The lizard's very own Death Star.
Don't mention the reptiles.
Don't mention the reptiles, yeah. Because there were people, when this started to come in, people who were kind of into my stuff, up to that point, which was kind of regular fight. Well, it was a bit strange because it was all the way the war was manipulated by a few people, but it was all kind of regular stuff. And then I came across with this stuff, and it was
Get it out of the way.
Don't mention the reptiles. They'll just laugh at you again. I said, I know, but I've seen enough and heard enough to believe that it's real, and so I say it. I don't care about the consequences for me. Are you frightened? No, I'm not. I don't care, because the consequences for the world and my children and my grandchildren and everyone else's of humans not intervening in this process that's going on now ever more quickly, are that we are condemning our children and grandchildren, indeed ourselves. It's that close to a world that George Orwell so massively understated.
Can we have a look at where the work gets
Yes.
done, where
Like
it
everything
all
that-
happens?
This is where it all happens, and as you can see, it's really small.
It is really small.
Because You know, I look at my life and I don't see my life as a life anymore. I haven't for a while. I see it as a job.
So this is the new one.
Yeah, this is
in
the
German?
this is the German version, isn't it? Look at the size of
Jeez,
it.
yeah.
350,000 words. That, in one book, is the scale of information that has come into my life about these things. See, that is not a theory. That is evidence supporting a fact.
What was like the first book that really struck you? Because I know there was a couple for me, but you're familiar with Robert Anton Wilson? And
Yeah,
I just liked it because it was funny and it tied a lot of points of interest together. And he sort of pointed me in different directions, even though he wasn't really a conspiracy theorist trying to say anything. He put things together I never saw. You know,
Right.
he'd connect dots that had never occurred to me, which turned me to like Holy Blood, Holy Grail, and some of these.
That you've just hit the nail right on the head of my work and what you need to do to understand what's going on. Connect the dots. See, there are dots like banking, government, all these different things. 9/11, which in and of themselves are interesting, and you can see that something's not right. But when you connect the dots between apparently unconnected people and situations and organizations, that's when the tapestry appears and you go, whoa, so that's what's happening.
David had told us that his first moment of enlightenment had occurred when a voice entered his head while shopping with his son on the seafront.
This is the newsagent I told you about, where basically it all started. I was walking along here and I walked in this door and turned to where Gareth was reading his Spin Train books, and this is where it happened, just the other side of this door, where I'm like, what's going on? Go and look at the books on the far side. What? And that's where it started, 1990, March 1990. And I never thought it was going to lead where it has, but it has. Yeah.
Well, it's a great beginning. Platform fun.
In simple terms, there is a predator race which take a reptilian form. They're feeding off humanity. They've turned humanity into a slave race. They demand human sacrifice. That's where Satanism comes in. They feed off human energy, particularly feed off the energy of children.
David's latest revelations have been about the moon. Far from a lump of benign rock orbiting us, it is in fact an artificial construct, a gigantic spacecraft, probably a hollowed-out planetoid. It is from the moon that the nefarious Illuminati manipulate the collective human mind, warping our perception of reality.
I'm saying it's broadcasting something, that it acts as a blocking frequency that stops us seeing and perceiving things that we would normally perceive. That is creating what I call the moon matrix, or the Saturn moon matrix, and it's basically having the effect of the fake reality in the Matrix movies.
I guess that makes David the Isle of Wight's very own Neo.